Our last stop is the NECC, and let's start in the big division. Angola is the big dog in this conference. They have had undefeated regular seasons, conference championships. Unfortunately, they've run into Dwenger a couple times in the postseason.
Don't have to worry about that this year, huh?
And that is a good thing for them, and could make it very interesting for us.
Yeah.
How do you see Angola is the team to beat? They are the hunted, not the hunter at any point. So what do you see as being the key for them to staying atop that level of the conference?
You know, last year we said there is no way Angola can sweep through the NECC again like they did in 2017, and sure enough, they did it. So now here we are in 2019, and we're looking at it once again with a new crop of characters. Of course, Ryan Brandt back, the Purdue commit at safety, but you're thinking there's no way Angola can go through this conference again, particularly when you look at Central Noble. West Noble's better, Garrett's going to be better, but until somebody beats Angola, you feel like they're at the level. Andy Thomas has built as big of a machine in terms of NECC football as you could possibly think of, in terms of getting kids out, in terms of developing players, in terms of now the belief in Angola football that has become with back-to-back undefeated seasons. And like we said, you have to be a little bit excited that, hey, Bishop Dwenger's gone, right, in that regional.
Yeah.
So it's a challenging sectional, as it has always been the last several years. But Angola, if they can have another group of guys to step up, you lose Chase Schnepp on offense, which I think was a big part of that offense the last 2 years. But I just feel like Angola is in that position where they're just going to start reloading. And I think they're going to have another successful season.
When you look at the big division, you've got Lakeland, West Noble, Garrett, and Fairfield. To me, West Noble is the team that's going to challenge them, because I think if there's a 1-2 combo in the NECC that I like a lot, it's going to be Brandon Pruitt at middle linebacker, and then at the running back position, 6'3", looks the part. He's another guy you could pluck into the SAC, and he'd be a star there. He's going to play college football at Navy. And then the Josh Gross kid can move. He's got some length on him, good receiver. Good cornerback, had, I believe, 8 interceptions last year. So, to me, West Noble is the team to watch if you're Angola.
I absolutely agree. When you bring back those two guys that are so physical and so really talented at their positions on both sides of the football, can West Noble be that team? Can Coach Molitor really develop that team? Coach's son, now the quarterback as well, coming back, so he has a year of experience, Kyle. So, I think when you look at teams that could potentially challenge Angola, could be West Noble.
When you look at the small division, it's sort of like the big division. As you say, okay, Busco, here they are. They're the team to beat. Paul Sade has kind of got his own machine working there. They have to replace Tommy Richards at quarterback, who, like A.J. Restivo, was in his 17th season as a quarterback for Busco last season. But you got guys like Jake Falk. You got the Wood kid. You've got Wicker, who may be the best two-way lineman in that conference. What is it that Busco needs to do to stay atop the conference?
I think you mentioned two of the guys, Falk and Wood, that I think this team is really going to rely on offensively in particular, because you're breaking in a new quarterback. So when you have Falk and Wood and the offense that they run, in terms of the misdirection, in terms of the counters and all that, those two guys are so good at running that system. And it's kind of Paul State. It's like, keep it simple. Like we're not going to be flashy. We're going to out execute you, and you know exactly what we're going to do, and you can't stop it. So, but you also look at Churubusco, also another school that has had lower enrollments in the last couple of years and lower numbers coming out. I don't think Churubusco needs those big numbers because they're in a conference where you're playing other similar sized schools, but you're also seeing the depth kind of take a hit for Churubusco, and I think if you have some guys that are out here and there, it could play into a concerning situation for Coach State.
Eastside 3-1 in conference last year, Central Noble 2-2, Fremont 1-3, Prairie Heights 0-4. Of those teams, who's going to challenge Busco most for the conference championship?
I feel like Eastside has had a couple years of those kind of not down but mediocre Eastside, but I think they could be in a position now to jump back up, and I wouldn't count out Central Noble as well. I think they've really been on the upswing the last couple years, and Churubusco seems to be on that perch, but either of those two teams, I think, a challenge.
Yeah, Greg Moe started to build the monster back, and then Trevor Tipton's done a nice job.
Yeah.
The last, I guess this will be the next season under Trevor Tipton.
Definitely.
Second year. So when you take a look at this season as a whole, not just in the NECC, but overall, what are you most looking forward to about 2019?
I think the quarterback position is where I'm looking at it, because when you look at it, I'm sure when you were doing your preseason, in terms of all areas.
Well, I didn't do any research. I just went out there,
Well, whoever doing your research is doing a phenomenal job.
Interns and all those guys.
When you're looking at, okay, who are the quarterbacks, the elite quarterbacks, and you're looking and I don't see any. Not that guys can't be elite and are going to develop an elite and really catch your eye, but that's the open question for me. And I think particularly in some of these conferences, in the SAC in particular, which quarterback ascends to be that number one guy or number two guy in the conference? In the NE8, is it Bailey Parker that's above everybody else? And if anybody is going to challenge East Noble, where does that quarterback position go? Particularly Leo in replacing AJ Restivo. You look at ACAC. Can Ben Reedy be that guy? Is Jason Arnold ready to dominate? So I think the quarterback position in all three of those conferences is paramount, as it always is, but particularly because we have some new faces, some new names at some of these programs, or other guys that are returning that aren't necessarily household names. So which of these quarterbacks rises throughout the season and becomes the guy to lead their teams to conference championships?
And we shall see it all come to a head on Friday night, week 1 of the high school football season, and then we'll be back on Monday following to talk Inside the Zone with Justin Kinney. For week 1, he's Justin, I'm Glenn, and we'll see you next Monday.